Leo. Absent, her father was Sin, the maiden, Virgo. Zeba'ana, the heavenly fate, the scales of Libra. Bertab, which claws and cuts, the Scorpio. Pabil, the defender, Archer, Sagittarius. Shirmash, the goatfish, Capricorn. Gu, the lord of the waters, the water bearer, Aquarius. Sema, fishes, Pisces. Kumal, the field dweller, the ram, Aries.
Okay, I don't see any
This
more.
was the achievement for a time preceding mankind's civilization, tested by the fact that the zodiacal
thank you,
calendar was
coffee.
applied
Took
to
my
Incan's
words
first
right out
days
my
on
mouth.
Earth.
It ain't that.
When
It's
the
the
first two
internet.
zodiacal houses
I
were
had to
named
move
and
this
designed.
closer.
But this was not the achievement of a
The
Greek
signal went
astronomer
weak real
in the
quick.
3rd century BCE, as most textbooks will suggest. Is attested by the fact that the 12 zodiacal houses
There seems to be a little bit of atmospheric compression going on.
Included and recorded in the Bible as the Tower of Babel incident. But
You're talking about Marduk over here.
Success came
How you
only
been,
when
man?
heaven and earth were aligned with the messianic clock.
I about got this double done.
Indeed, the first cataclysmic set of events in the 21st century BCE and the messianic expectations that accompanied it is principally the story of Marduk. It also brought to center
Finally got
stage his
killed
son
over
Adam,
1,000.
a deity, the son
I
of
think
God,
I got this
whose mother
dialed
was an
in.
earthling.
We should be good. Fuck me.
Throughout the history of Sumer that spanned almost 2,000 years, its royal capital shifted from the first one, Kish, Ninurta's first city, to Uruk, the city that Anu granted to Inanna and Ishtar, to Ur, Sin's seat of similar worship, then to others, and then back to the initial ones. Finally, for the third time, back to Ur. But at all times in Little City Nippur, his cult center, as scholars won't call it, remained the religious center of Sumer and Sumerian people.
I got the pole
It
between
was
us
there
now.
that the annual cycle of worshiping the gods was determined.
How y'all doing?
The 12
Welcome
Olympians of the
back. Hi,
Sumerian
Emily.
pantheon, each with his or her celestial counterpart among the 12 members of the solar system, the sun, the moon, and 10 planets.
I'm doing pretty good. I can't
Were also
complain.
honored with 1 month each in the
Marilyn, how
annual
you doing?
cycle of a 12-month year. The Sumerian term for month,
I'm
Eason,
blowing live over
actually
here.
means holiday,
Rigs for
festival,
us,
and
man.
each such month was
I'm
devoted
doing
to
all right.
celebrating
I'm
the
closer to
worship
my
festival
store
of
now.
the 12 supreme gods. It was the need to determine the exact time when each such month began.
I got my
and
mood
ended
light
not in
going
order
on.
to enable peasants to know
It's-
when to
it's
sow
like
or
keeping
harvest,
things
as
smooth
school books
over here.
explain, that led to the introduction of mankind's first calendar in 3760 BCE. It is known as the calendar of
Glenn.
Nippur,
So
because it was the
stay
task of
calm.
its priests to determine the calendar,
Right there.
intricate timetables, to announce for the whole land the time of the religious festivals. The calendar is still in use to this day as the Jewish religious calendar, which in AD 2007
This whole thing moves over.
numbers the year. In pre-diluvial times, Nippur served as mission control center. In Lil's command post, where he set up the Duran Key, the bond of heaven and earth for communications with the home planet, Nibiru, and with the spacecraft connecting them,
Ha!
after the deluge, these functions were
Much
relocated
better.
to a place later known as Jerusalem. Its center position, equidistant from the other functional centers in the Eden, were also deemed to be
I
equidistant
see the problem.
in the 4 corners of the earth,
God.
and gave it the nickname Navel of
Technical
the Earth.
issues.
A hymn to
Excuse me.
Enlil referred to Nippur and its functions thus as this. Enlil, when you marked off divine settlements on earth, Nippur you set up as your very own city.
Nice. Good to hear, Glenn.
The center of the 4 corners of the earth. The term the 4
Thank you,
corners of the earth is also found in the Bible.
You keep me
And
calm
when
too.
Jerusalem replaced Nippur as mission control center after the deluge, it too was nicknamed the navel of the earth. In Sumerian, the term for the 4 regions of the earth was Ub, but it was
Well, that's
also
not a good
found as
news,
Anu,
Marilyn.
the
Sorry to
heavenly, the
hear that.
celestial 4 corners. In this case, an astronomical term connected with the calendar. It is taken to refer to the 4 points in the Earth-Sun cycle and the annual cycle that we nowadays
Coffee
call
sounds like he's in a good
the
mood.
summer solstice, the winter solstice, and the 2 crossings of the equator. One as the spring equinox and then as the autumnal equinox. In the calendar of Nippur, the year began on the day of the spring equinox, and it has so remained in the ensuing calendars of the ancient Near East. That determined the time of the most important festival of the year, the New Year Festival.
Yeah,
An event that lasted 10
they're
days,
part of the
during
family
which
too.
detailed and canonized rituals had to be
Crazy
followed.
about them. They just don't live that
Determining
long.
calendrical time by
They teach us
zodiacal
about
rising,
loss, I'll tell you.
entitled The Observation of the Skies at Dawn. When the sun just begins to rise on the eastern horizon, but the skies are still dark enough to show the stars in the background, the day of the equinox having been determined by the fact that on it, daylight and nighttime were precisely equal. The position of the sun at the heliacal rising was then marked by the erection of a stone pillar to guide future observations. A procedure that was followed, for example, later on at Stonehenge in Britain.
Yeah,
And as it
felt greater
Stonehenge,
loss over
long-term
a pet
observations
than
revealed that the group
people.
of stars or constellations in the background has not remained the same there. The alignment stone called though the background stayed the same. There, the alignment stone called the heel stone that points to a sunrise on solstice nowadays pointed originally to a sunrise circa 2000 BCE. The phenomenon called the precession of the equinoxes, or just precession, results from the fact that as the Earth completes one annual orbit around the sun, it does not return to the same exact celestial spot. There is a slight, very slight retardation. It amounts to 1 degree out of 360 in the circle in 72 years. It was Enki who first grouped the stars observable from Earth into constellations and divided the heavens, in which the Earth circled the sun, into 12 parts. What has since been called the zodiacal circle of constellations,
which means it's Anunnaki that you worship them zodiacs. That's it.
The retardation or precessional shift from one zodiacal house to another lasted mathematically 2,160 years, 72 times 30.
They get everybody. How you doing, Daddy?
25,920 years, 2,160 times 12. The approximate dates of the zodiacal ages following the equal 12-part division and not actual astronomical observations have been added here for the reader's
a couple
guidance.
of my chickens this morning. I missed some
Gudea,
people.
the heavenly bull, Taurus, Mashtaba, the twins, or Gemini. Dove,
We didn't
the
eat our
Cancer,
chickens.
Tongues,
We
is
buried
the
them
crab
when they
of
died.
Cancer. Ergo,
We ate their
the lion,
eggs. I
the
figured that was
Leo.
good enough.
Absent, her father was Sin, the maiden, Virgo. Baana, the heavenly fate, the scales
But
of
I
Libra.
mean, you see a pet
Tav,
grow
which
up.
claws and cuts,
which
the
is
Scorpio.
shit, man. That's
Pabil,
that
the
is
defender, the archer,
family
Sagittarius.
right there. Oh,
Shirmash,
shit. We ain't
the
got the comb
goatfish,
laid out.
Capricorn.
We gotta go shit.
Gu, the lord of the waters, the
like
water
my
bearer,
comb.
Aquarius. Sima, fishes, Pisces. Kumal, the field dweller, the ram, Aries. That this was the achievement from a time preceding mankind's civilizations is attested by the fact that the zodiacal calendar was applied to Enki's first stage on Earth, when the first two zodiacal houses were named in his honor. That this was not the achievement of a Greek astronomer in the 3rd century BCE, as most textbooks will suggest, is attested by the fact that the 12 zodiacal houses were known to the Sumerians millennia earlier by names and depictions that we use to this day. In When Time Began, the calendrical timetables of gods and men were discussed at
We got
length.
disco lights going.
Having come from the Biru, whose orbital period, the Sar, the Shar, meant 3,600 Earth years. That unit was naturally the first calendrical yardstick of the Anunnaki, even on the fast-orbiting Earth. Indeed, the text
Not much.
dealing
How
with
you
their
doing,
early days on
Smooch?
Earth, such as the Sumerian king lists, designate
I like
the
that thing
periods
too.
of this or
It's
that
fucking
leader's
cool as
time
shit.
on Earth in terms
I've been
of
wanting to put it in
stars.
my dungeon for a
I
while.
term this divine time.
It was up in my
The calendar
bedroom.
granted in mankind, one based on the orbital aspects of the Earth,
Now it's
and
my
its
work
moon was
light. I
named
get to
earthly
stare at
time,
it all the time.
pointing out that the 2,160 years
Yeah,
zodiacal
this is a little
shift,
bit different dungeon. How you
less
doing,
than a
Skits?
year for the
Cheers,
Anunnaki,
everybody.
offered them a better ratio, the golden ratio of 10 to 6 between the two extremes. I called this celestial time.
This rigs for us
As
live
Murdoch
every
discovered
day
that
now.
celestial time was the
For the
clock
next
by
week or
which his
so.
destiny was to be determined, but which was mankind's
This is me making
messianic
sure my
clock,
seat's
determining its fate and destiny. Earthly time.
Oh,
such as the count of 50-year jubilees, a count in centuries, or the
yeah, I love this shit.
Was it divine time geared to the year's orbit, or was it
my kiln's finally hot
celestial time that follows slow rotation of the zodiacal clock? The quandary, as we shall see, baffled mankind in antiquity. It still lies at the core of the current return issue. The question that is posed has been asked before by Babylonian and Assyrian stargazing priests, by biblical prophets in the book of Daniel, in Revelation of St. John the Divine, by the likes of Sir Isaac Newton, by all of us today. The answer will be astounding, but let us embark on the painstaking quest. And that's the end of chapter 1. There's a drink here. And we're going to get into chapter 2 over here now. And it came to pass, the end of days, by Zechariah Sitchin. It is highly significant that in its record of Sumer and the early Sumerian civilization, the Bible chose to highlight the space connection incident, the one known as the tale of the Tower of Babel.
Start another.
And it came to pass as they journeyed from the east that they found a plain in the land of Shanir, and they settled there.
Ding, ding.
And they said to one another, "Come, let us make bricks and burn them by the fire." And the bricks served them as stone, and the bitumen served them as mortar. And they said, "Come, let us build a city and a tower whose head shall reach the heavens." Genesis 11:2-4. This is how the Bible recorded the most audacious attempt by Marduk to assert his supremacy and by establishing his own city in the heart of Emerald domains, and moreover, to build there his own space facility with its own launch tower. The place is named in the Bible Babylon in English. This biblical tale is remarkable in many ways. It records, first of all, the settlement of the Tigris of the Euphrates plain after the deluge, after the soil had dried up enough to permit resettlement. It correctly names the new land Shinar, the Hebrew name for Sumer. It provides the important clue from where, from the mountainous regions to the east, the settlers had come. It recognizes that it was there that man's first urban civilization began, the building of cities. It correctly notes and explains that in that land, where the soil consisted of layers of dried mud and there is no native rock, the people used mud bricks for building, and by hardening the bricks in kilns, could use them instead of stone. It also refers to the use of bitumen as a natural petroleum product seeped up from the ground in southern Mesopotamia, but was totally absent in the land of Israel. The authors of this chapter in Genesis were thus well informed regarding the origins and the key innovations of the Sumerian civilization. They also recognized the significance of the Tower of Babel incident, as in the tales of the creation of Adam and the deluge. They melded the various Sumerian deities into the plural Elohim, or into an all-encompassing and supreme Yahweh. But they left us in the tale the fact that it took a group of deities to say, "Let us come down and put an end to this rogue effort." Sumerian and later Babylonian records attest to the veracity of the biblical tale and contain many more details linking the incident to the overall strained relationship between the gods that caused the outbreak of 2 pyramid wars after the deluge. The peace on earth arrangement circa 8650 BCE left the erstwhile Eden in Enlite hands. That conformed to the decisions of Anu, Enlil, and even Enki, but was never acquiesced to by Marduk Ra. And so it was that when the cities of man began to be allocated in the form of Eden to the gods, Marduk raised the issue, what about me? Although Sumer was the heartland of Enlite territories, and its cities were Enlite cult centers, there was one exception. In the south of Sumer, at the edge of the marshlands, there was Enlil. It was rebuilt after the deluge at the exact same site where Yah and Enki's first settlement on earth began. It was Enki's insistence when the earth was divided among the rival Anunnaki clans that Enki forever retained Enlil as his own. So about 3460 BCE, Marduk decided that he could extend his father's privilege to also having his own foothold in the light heartland. The available text do not provide the reason why Marduk chose that specific site on the banks of the Euphrates River for his new headquarters, but its location provides a clue. It was situated between the rebuilt Nippur, the pre-diluvial mission control center, and the rebuilt Sapar, the pre-diluvial spaceport of the Anunnaki. So what Marduk had in mind could have been a facility that served both functions. A later map of Babylon, drawn on the clay tablet, represented it as the navel of the earth, akin to the Purge's original function title. The name Marduk gave the place Bab Eli in Akkadian meant gateway of the gods, a place from which the gods could ascend and descend, where the appropriate main facility was to be a tower whose head shall reach the heavens, a launch tower. As in the biblical tale, so it is told in the parallel and earlier Mesopotamian versions that this attempt to establish a rogue space facility came to naught. Though fragmented, the Mesopotamian texts, first translated by George Smith in 1876, make it clear that Marduk's act infuriated Enlil. With his anger, a command poured out
You guys are holding
for a nighttime attack to destroy the tower.
Infuriated.
Egyptian records report that a chaotic period lasted 350 years, preceding the start of the Pharaonic kingship in Egypt, circa 3110 BCE. It is at this time frame that leads us to date the Tower of Babel incident to circa 3460 BCE. For the end of that chaotic period marked the return of Ra to Egypt, the expulsion of Thoth, and the start of the worship of Ra. Frustrated this time, Marduk never gave up his attempts to dominate the official space facilities that serve as the bond of heaven and earth. The link between the Nibiru and Earth, or set up his own facility. Since in the end, Marduk did attain his aims in Babylon. The interesting question is, why did he fail in 3460 BCE? The equally interesting answer is, it was a matter of timing.
No,
A well-known text recorded a conversation between Marduk and his father Enki, which had disheartened Marduk, asked his father what he had failed to learn.
How you doing?
What he had failed to do was to take into account the fact
Come over to watch.
that the time then, the celestial
wanted to
time,
break from
was the age
slanted
of
RV.
Bull, the age of Enlil.
Yeah.
Among the thousands of inscribed tablets unearthed in the ancient Near East, quite a number provided information regarding the month associated with a particular deity, and a complex calendar began in Nippur in 3760 BCE.
Texas.
I gotta gas up
The first month, Nanasu, was the Ezin, the festival time for a new Enlil. In the leap year of the 13th lunar month, the honor was split between the two. The list of honorees changed as time went by, as did the composition of the membership of the Supreme Pantheon of 12.
That's not your
The
computer.
month associations also changed locally, not only in various lands,
What's the fucking
but sometimes to
passcode to
recognize
get
the
into
city
this
god.
damn thing?
We know, for
Did all
example,
this
that the
was it
planet we
now,
call
yeah.
Venus was initially associated with
It's one of the
Ninmah and
same.
later on Inanna, Ishtar.
Huh?
It's one
But
of the
such
same as
changes
this
make
something.
difficult the identifications of who was linked celestially
That's why I
to
use
what.
for everything as well.
Some zodiacal associations can be clearly inferred from text or drawing.
Probably
Enki, at first called Ea, he whose home is water,
Coffee.
was clearly associated with the water bearer, Aquarius.
It's probably 15.
And initially, if not permanently,
Timed out
also with
somebody.
the fishes, Pisces.
Oh, God.
The constellation that was named the twins Gemini, without a doubt,
So how's it been going?
was so named in honor of the only known divine twins born on Earth.
I got a.
Nanar and Sin's children, Utu and Shamash, and Inanna and Ishtar.
This one.
The feminine constellation of Virgo, the maiden rather than the inaccurate virgin,
Then I'll have.
that, like the planet Venus, was probably named at first in honor of Ninmah, was renamed Absalom, whose
You're
father
using my
was
glasses.
Sin, which could be correct
Yes.
only for Inanna or
Mine are right
Ishtar.
there.
The archer
bro.
or defender Sagittarius matched the numerous
That
texts and
lens fell right
hymns
out of there.
extolling Ninurta as
Ain't
the
even
divine
got a
archer.
crack fucking frame.
His
I
father's
know.
warrior and defender
It's like, fuck,
Sapar,
but look at the
the
other
city
one.
of
It
Utu
looks-
Shamash,
They just pop right
no longer
in.
the site of the spaceport after the deluge,
Yeah.
was considered in
Where
Sumerian
even is
times to
the
be the
lens?
center of law and
Where even
justice.
is the lens?
And the god
It
was
broke.
deemed, even
It's
by the
actually-
later
yeah, it actually
Babylonians,
broke. The
as the chief justice of the land.
when I dropped it on the
It is certain that the scales of justice Libra
Doesn't seem very
represented his
No.
constellation. And then there were the nicknames comparing the prowess, strength, and characteristics of a god with an animal held in awe.
Don't tell Glenn.
I'm very
oh,
happy.
shit, there he is.
And Little's as text
Hey,
after
Trent,
text
how you
That
doing?
covers my good eye.
It
There
was
you go.
depicted on cylinder seals on
Darn,
tablets.
maybe. I got
Right,
another
the
bear
bull,
around here somewhere.
that's why
Somewhere.
Somewhere.
Inky was really supposedly being reborn and existing and reincarnated in different bodies, but Inky was the one that had compassion, and he's related to Pisces and the fish, so he's all the messianic deity figurehead. Jesus, etc. And of course, in Little being the negative aspect, has always been related to the bull or Baal. And this is why you had
He successfully has double the size of his own hill.
Well, they weren't necessarily Baal, it was being Baal, it meant that they were worshipped as Lil. They were in Lil cult, and so they didn't, that was what that whole thing
Also a lot more
that's the
stable.
whole foundations of religion are based on all of this, ancient Anunnaki shit, man. It's the fact, again, and he referenced a guy who was writing earlier, 1871, was in the first translations. I've actually read those translations, the ones that were done in 1870. And when you read those, they read the same as
Polly's a little upset that she can't get internet on her phone.
Yeah,
I guess
ain't nobody really having good luck with that.
These simple artists were operating way back in 1875, which I guess is a possibility.
Even honest. I mean, I've been kicked off of that feed 3 or 4
That's
times.
that's really the most
I was only able to access her.
interesting thing about this is that the whole relation with Baal and the Baal and all that stuff, and when you see these, the Canaanites worship Baal. That was a pre-Hebrew culture, and it was a little cult, as they talked about earlier. They had cult centers that were built, and that's what it was. And in my opinion, I believe that the current world order still exists of this same type.
I was only
type
able
of
to
worship.
access
I
the
think that
GoFundMe because of
Judaism
my
and all the
hotspot.
main religions
I was only
were
able to
spun
access
off
the
of that.
GoFundMe with the
And that's what
hotspot,
they've gotten people to do. They've gotten people to worship the Enlil
which
energy,
is horrible at the moment because I used up my 4G or 5G.
the positive energy of that, and that's what they're into. I think they're still drawing upon that bull and
This even
Enlil energy to this day.
I am
in and out all day.
The only reason my hotspot's bad is because I wasted
astronomy
it
and in art.
for zero.
Some of the beautiful art objects discovered in the royal tombs of
For zero
Ur
reason.
bullheads sculpted in bronze, silver,
I
and gold.
wanted to
Totally
download
precious
something and it
stones.
only got like halfway, and then it's just like,
The constellation
your
of the bull
5G's
is
over.
honored
For
and
the month.
symbolized in Lil.
If you're on like 1.5.
Its name, Gudea,
I'm on 2.
meant the bull of heaven.
It's just 2.
And text dealing with the
That
actual
ain't so
bull of
bad.
heaven linked in
Not too
Lil
bad.
and its constellation to one of the most unique places on Earth. It was a
Well,
place that was
animated.
called the
Slow
landing
down.
place.
Better than the
And it
damn.
is there that one of the most amazing
stream, though.
structures on Earth, including a stone tower that
Mine's
reaches to
pretty
the
good.
heavens, still stands. Many texts from antiquity, including the Hebrew Bible, describe or refer to the unique forest of tall and great cedar trees in Lebanon. In ancient times, it extended for miles, surrounding the unique place, a vast stone platform built by the gods as their first space-related site on Earth. Before their centers and real
Nice little
spaceports were
sprinkling
established.
happening. Turning to
It
rain.
was Sumerian
Turn it
text
into
attesting
rain.
the only structure that had survived
Yeah, I
the
was
deluge.
sprinkling on my way here.
And
Now
was
it's starting to
conserved
fall
right
more
after the
straight.
deluge as a base of operations for the Anunnaki.
Those supposed
From
to
it,
clear
they
up.
revived and
It
revamped
did, and then it got worse, and then it came back.
and domesticated animals. The place called the landing place in the Epic of
Did you
Gilgamesh,
see the little line in the sky
that king's destination
where it cleared
in
up?
his search for immortality. We learn from the epic tale that it was there in the
There's
sacred
literally like a
cedar forest
mile
that
stretch.
Enlil kept the
in the
Gudea,
sky.
the bull
That's
of
it.
heaven, the symbol of
Probably not even a
Enlil's
mile
age of
stretch.
the bull. And what happened then in the sacred forest had a bearing on the course of the
And that
affairs
was
of
the clue.
gods and men.
And we're back to rain.
So the journey,
Huh?
the journey to the cedar forest and its landing place,
Maybe.
we learned from the
Maybe.
epic of Gilgamesh, began in Uruk.
Maybe.
the city that Anu granted as a present to his great-granddaughter Inanna, a name that meant beloved of Anu. Its king early in the 3rd millennium BCE was Gilgamesh.
Thank you, sir.
He was no ordinary man, but his mother was the goddess Medusa,
That's a
a
nice one.
member of Anu's family. That made Gilgamesh not a mere demigod, but one who was 2/3 divine.
Who knows
Asking
kid?
not only, see, again, that's a great thing. You know, we think of divine powers.
Gilgamesh is Noah's kid.
You do know we're talking about aliens here, right? You people just think we get all this hodgepodge bullshit built up in their brains about.
Not the hodgepodge bullshit.
It's the Lord, it's a God. No, it's an alien, you stupid motherfucker. Yeah, well, and the alien is your God. She agreed when they explained to him that the apparent foretelling of the gods was in reality longevity due to the long order period of their planet. To attain such longevity, he had to join the gods on the Nibiru, and to do that, he had to go to the place where the rocket ships ascend and descend. Though warned of the journey's hazards, Gilgamesh was determined to go. If I fail, he said, at least I will be remembered as one who would try. Now, here, let's move you there, buddy. And his mother's insistence in artificial double in Kinu was made to be his companion and guardian. Yeah. Straight up made him an R2D2 or a C3PO to go with him. And that was kind of, that I always thought that was carried over into Star Wars because you don't see it in the first 3 movies, but when you watch the other 3 more recent Star Wars movies, they show that Anakin Skywalker was the one that was responsible for building C3PO. That was, he started building him as a project when he was a child. And then, of course, you don't see that in the 3 original movies, but you will see C3PO played a large part of that. And so I think it's very interesting because when Gilgamesh was going out on his journey, you know, they made a robot for him that could translate different languages and basically help him out and be his guardian along the way. That's pretty, I mean, we've seen that in science fiction quite a bit. Their adventures told and retold in the epic 12 tablets, and its many ancient memories can be found in our book, The Stairway to Heaven. There were, in fact, not 1 but 2 journeys. One was to the landing place in the Cedar Forest, the other to the spaceport in the Sinai Peninsula, where, according to Egyptian depictions, rocket ships were in place in underground silos. In the first journey, circa 2860 BCE to the Cedar Forest in Lebanon, the duo were assisted by the god Shamash, the godfather of Gilgamesh, and the going was relatively quick and easy. After they reached the forest, they witnessed during the night the launching of a rocket ship. This is how Gilgamesh described it. The vision that I saw was wholly awesome. The heavens shrieked, the earth boomed. Though daylight was dawning, darkness came. Lightning flashed, the flame shot up, the clouds swelled, it rained death. Then the glow vanished and the fire went out. All that had fallen was turned to ashes. All that for the launching of a rocket ship? That sounds like, see, that's what some of this stuff is strange to me, because that, to me, in the description of that on previous pages of being in a missile silo, didn't sound like a rocket ship to me. This sounds like nuclear missile silos, as you would know. And then it doesn't make any sense.
So when do you think we're going to be heading out?
Whenever Miss Pollyanna decides she wants to go out there.
That doesn't sound like a rocket ship blasting off. That sounds like a nuclear weapon gun, a lightning flash, a flame shot,
We'll go back to the
rain death. That's not, come on.
Love you.
Sister, that's not just a rocket ship launching. That's an underground nuclear missile silo. No wonder they're so worried about people in the Middle East getting nuclear weapons. Probably afraid they'll unleash the fucking Sumerian shit. Probably what Dinner Jacket's got under his hat in Iran right now. It's under his hat. I don't know if it's miracles. The fucking middle order shit is so scary over this shit. Undeterred the next day, Gilgamesh and Inakiro discovered the secret business that had been used by the other mountains, and still they killed it. They were attacked by a robot-like guardian whose arm was death beams and revolving fire. Imagine the soil monster and the last by a brook, even if the way was in the clear. But when it goes deep into the city forest, a new sign had appeared. The bull of the heaven. Unfortunately, the sixth tablet of the epic is too damaged to remind the sovereign creature in the valley of it to be completely legible. The legible forces do make it clear that the two comrades ran to their lives, pursued by the bull of heaven all the way back to the west. And as there the NTD managed to slay it. The text becomes legible as a boast of holiness who cut off the bull of song, called the craftsmen, the language, and the artisans that we are yet to admire the bull's head. The text suggests that they were artificially made. Inches past and 30 minutes of the Akkadian determined inches 15 to 6. So when they slayed this thing, it was actually like what they slayed was some kind of, artificial creation as well. It's a robot or some kind of other not natural creature. Until another tablet with the illegible lines is discovered, we shall not know for sure whether Enlil's celestial symbol is in the cedar forest with a specially selected living bull, decorated and embellished with gold and precious stones, or a robotic creature, an artificial monster. What we do know for certain is that upon its slaying, Ishtar and her abode set up a whale, all the way to a new in the heavens. You see that out of trees. The matter was so serious that Anu, Enlil, Enki, and Shamash formed a divine council to judge the comrades. Only Enki ended up being punished, and to consider the slaying's consequences. The ambitious Inanna Ishtar had indeed reason to raise a wail. The invincibility of Enlil's age had been pierced, and the age itself was symbolically shortened by the cutting off of the bull's spine. We know from Egyptian sources, including pictorial depictions of a strong astronomical papyrus, that the slaying symbolism was not lost on night. The expected meaning in the heavens too, the age of the world had been cut short. We're reading from the end of Days. Remember, I said you're going to pick up where we left off last time. Until another tablet with the eligible lines is discovered, we shall not know for sure whether a real celestial symbol in the cedar forest was a specially selected living bull decorated and embellished with gold and precious stones, or a robotic creature, an artificial monster. What we do know for certain is that upon its slaying, Ishtar and her abode set up a whale, all the way to Anu in the heavens. The matter was so serious that Anu, Enlil, Enki, and Shamash formed a divine council to judge their comrades. Only Enkidu ended up being punished and to consider the slaying's consequences. The ambitious Inanna or Ishtar had indeed reason to raise a whale. The invincibility of Enlil's age had been pierced, and the age itself was symbolically shortened by the cutting off of the bull's thigh. Monarch's attempt to establish an alternative space facility was not taken lightly by the Israelites. The evidence suggests that Enlil and Minerva were preoccupied with establishing their own alternative space facilities. And on the other side of the earth, in the Americas, near the post-colonial forces of gold. This absence, together with the Bull of Heaven incident, ushered in a period of instability and confusion in the Mesopotamian heartland, subjecting it to incursions from neighboring lands. People called Deities and the Elamites came from the east. Semitic-speaking people came from the west. But while the Easterners worshipped the same Israelite gods as the Sumerians, the Amuru, the Westerners, were different. Along the shores of the Upper Sea, the Mediterranean, and the lands of the Canaanites, the people were beholden to the Enkiite gods of Egypt. Therein lay the seed, perhaps to this day, of holy wars undertaken in the name of God, except that different peoples had different national gods. Right, because these motherfuckers were going everywhere setting themselves up as gods. And the whole franchises everywhere they went. And the war over which franchise, was the best. Jesus shows up first. So it's more than we used to this day. That's just not how this is coincidence, I'm sure. It's the banana who came up with the brilliant idea. It can be described as if you can't find any bottom. One day, as she was wearing the skies in her sky chamber, it happened circa 2360 BCE, she landed in a garden next to a sleeping man who caught her fancy.
Easy.
And my friend Telephone, when she was in Saudi Arabia, she was someplace there where they told her that this place she was at was where Anana landed. And that's literally how they say it, She landed. That's just how people say it, but it's crazy. And literally just say these people landed there. She landed in a garden after sitting in kind of fancy. She liked the sex. She liked the man, and he was a restaurant, even a family friend.
What's the donut hole?
As we later learned, he knew not who his father was, but knew that his mother wasn't into it. A God's creature could put him in a wee basket that was carried by the river's flowing water to a garden tended by acting the irrigator, who raised him as a son. The possibility that the strong and handsome man could have been a god's cast-off son was enough for Anana to recommend to the other gods that the next king of the land should be this Amalu. When they agreed, she granted him the epitaph name Sharu-Kin, the oft-cherished title of the Sumerian kings. Not stemming from the previous recognized royal Sumerian lineages, he could not ascend the throne in any one of the olden capitals. And a brand new city was established to serve as his capital. It was called the Agane, the Union City. Our textbooks call this King Sargon of Akkad and his Semitic language Akkadian.
Coffee.
Kingdom which added northern and
Coffee's ready to be tied. That's good shit.
It's called Sumir and Akkad. Sargon lost little time carrying out the mission for which he was selected.
Yeah.
To bring the rebel lands under control.
No tarantulas.
Heavens to Anana, henceforth known by the Akkadian name Ishtar.
Hey Judith, how are you?
Had her tell Sargon,
I got some vicious wrenches over here. They'll beat you down. You ain't got nothing nice to say.
Massacring its people, making its rivers run with blood. Sargon's military expeditions were recorded and glorified in his own royal annals. His achievements are summarized in the Sargon Chronicles thus. Sharu-Kin, king of Agane, rose to power in the era of Ishtar. He left neither rival nor opponent. He spread his terror-inspiring awe in all of the lands. He crossed the sea in the east. He conquered the country of the west.
Seamus just shot me a picture of the rainbow. It might have been Polly on Seamus's phone.
The landing place deep in the country of the west was captured and held on behalf of Inanna or Ishtar, but not without opposition. Even texts written in glorification of Sargon state that in his old age, all the provinces revolted against him. Counter annals reporting the events as viewed from Marduk's side reveal that Marduk led a point.
You might be able to see it. Let's see. Just over the building there. It's wet. It's too wet for this thing. Oh. Shoot. Now I don't know which hole it was in. It was in one of them. There it is. Sorry for the abruptness, but rainbows. Let's see what's going on here. What have I done? Oh, I paused it.
Offensive. On account of the sacrilege Sargon committed, the great god Marduk became enraged.
I'm excited, Dan.
From east to west, he alienated the people from Sargon.
Please excuse so much knowledge.
Without rest. Sargon's territorial reach, it needs to be noted, included only one of the four post-Diluvian space-related sites. Only the landing place in the Cedar Forest.
Even if you lay on your back, the moon is still doing a cartwheel according to the horizon, from horizon to horizon. So that was a wasted video. And Orion is rising on his back. He comes out like that. And then by the time the sun rises, he's about like maybe that. He ain't even woke up yet. You shit in the toilet this morning? Nice coffee. I did too. Yes, it is Pollyanna's birthday, B. How you doing? Yeah. It'll probably get more brilliant as time goes by, and if it does, I'll give you updates. We'll take you back to
Such an incursion into Infiite domains are unprecedented, and it couldn't take place. A careful reading of the records reveals and formed the alliance with Rome.
I think that'll work out.
And when I was in the world's largest Masonic cathedral in Gudea, Oklahoma, they had an Assyrian room there.
Mood lamp, damn it.
And it was closed to the public at that time because they were doing renovations on it. And the guy who was leading the tour was a Mason. And we told him we came all the way.
Yep, it's still rainbow out there.
You know what? I'll take you on there and let y'all see it. He took us in there to see it. And I got pictures of it. There were depictions
It's
of
starting to rain pretty good.
So if Anana creating an alliance with Noah is an unholy alliance, then why are the Freemasons, depicting him in such a grandiose way, as if they're worshiping him and trying to become a god? My goodness. There's an unholy union, so the Masons have to have Noah in there. Monarch brotherhood found the other sister. Was nervous, the thrust in the people also required entering and crossing the neutral sacred region in the Sinai Peninsula, where the spaceport was located. Another breach of the Iron Peace Treaty. Boastful mountain sin gave himself power the king of the full region. I don't have a PDF copy of this. I just got one off of Amazon. I should have paid some guy so I could read it. But I have a copy of this book. Look at another page where they have the drawing with the figure 16 underneath it. And there's two drawings of some Sumerians over there. The one on the right looks very reptilian. And I guess this is supposed to be the one that's portraying Nergal. That's pretty interesting. We can hear the protests of Enki. We can read texts that record Marduk's warnings. It was all more than even the Israelite leadership could condone. A long text known as the Curse of the Agade, which tells the story of the Akkadian dynasty, clearly states that its end came about after the crowning of the forehead of Enlil. And so the word of Iker, the decision of Enlil from his temple in Nippur, was to put it to an end. The word of Ikur was upon Agade, to be destroyed and wiped off the face of the earth. Naram Sin's end came circa 2260 BCE. Texts from that time record that troops from the territory in the east, called Gudea, loyal to the Nerto, were the instrument of divine wrath. Agade was never rebuilt, never resettled. That royal city, indeed, has never been found. And it's those kind of things that make me wonder if that's what, places like the Rock Wall and all of these things that have been covered up in the United States could be.
Yeah.
These ancient sites that were wiped off, and, the rulers don't want there to be any record of it. The saga of Gilgamesh at the start of the 3rd millennium BCE and the military forays of the Akkadian kings near the end of that millennium provide a clear background for that millennium's events. The targets were the space-related sites by Gilgamesh to attain the god's longevity and the kings beholden to Ishtar to attain supremacy. Without doubt, it was Marduk's Tower of Babel attempt that placed the control of the space-related sites at the center of the affairs of gods and men. As we shall see, that centrality dominated much, if not most, of what took place later. The Akkadian phase of the war and peace on Earth was not without celestial or messianic aspects. In his chronicles, Sargon's Pyrus followed the customary honorific overseer of Ishtar, king of Kish, great MC of the world. The Rocket called himself a moon priest of Anu. It was the first time that being divinely anointed, which is what Messiah literally means, appears in ancient inscriptions. Marduk, in his pronouncements, warned of coming up to his age in cosmic phenomena. Well, that's interesting. Cosmic phenomena and upheavals being related together, because that's what's said about the supposed planet Vulcan. That people have kind of, turned into the meaning of the deal, and in fact, the document stuff is just being Today shall concerning the darkness, the whole world shall be disarrayed. The land shall be laid to waste, the people will remain to perish. Looking back to John Sayer, biblical prophecy, it is clear that on the end of the 21st century BCE, God and men expected a coming apocalyptic time. So that's an interesting thing. But doing that, so during the time period that was happening, the way we're doing now was happening during the BCE time. They were expecting an apocalypse, just like we are now. So that's the end of like Egyptian prophecies and human estimates. In the annals of man on Earth, the 21st century BCE saw in the ancient Near East one of the civilization's most glorious chapters. Now, as the Ur-Free period, it was at the same time the most difficult and crushing one. For it witnessed the end of Sumer in a deathly nuclear cloud. And after that, nothing was the same. Those monumentous events, as we shall see, were also the root of the messianic manifestations that centered on Jerusalem from BCE turned to AD, some 21 centuries later. The historic events of that memorable century, as all the events of human history, had their roots in what had taken place before. Of that, the year 2160 BCE is a date worth remembering. The annals of Sumer and Akkad from that period record a major policy shift by the Inner-Light gods. In Egypt, the date marked the beginning of changes of political and religious significance, and what occurred in both zones coincided with a new phase in Marduk's campaign to attain supremacy. Indeed, it was Marduk's chess-like strategy maneuvers and geographic movements from one place to another that controlled the agenda of the era's divine chess game. His moves and movements began with a departure from Egypt to become Egyptianized Ammon, also written Ammon or Amen, or Amen. The date of 2160 BCE is considered by Egyptologists to mark the beginning of what is designated the first intermediate period.
I showed you on the live.
I can't do live.
Yeah, no.
During the 1,000 years in the Old Kingdom, the oldest part of the capital was Memphis in Egypt. The Egyptians worshipped the top pantheon, erecting monumental temples to him, to the sun Ra, and to their divine successors. The famed inscriptions of the Memphite pharaohs glorified the gods and promised an afterlife for the kings. Reigning as the gods' surrogates, those pharaohs wore the double crown of the upper in the southern and the lower northern Egypt, signifying not just the administrative, but also the religious unification of the two lands. Unification attained when Horus defeated Seth in their struggles for
And he
the
said-
Come
top
over to tell me
legacy.
how hungry you are.
And then in
No,
2160 BCE,
you're funny.
unity in religious
He
circles
came
became
over
fashionable.
there and he said, you
The
know,
turmoil saw
Dad
the
says
record
we
of the
can go
union,
have dinner
abandonment
anytime
of
you're
the
ready.
capital,
And I
attacks
said,
from the south by the
are you
Theban
ready,
princes
son? Are
began
you
to
hungry?
join
He
foreign
said, you know, I'm
incursions,
kind of hungry.
desecration of temples, and the collapse of wall
I said, well, let me get my shit together and I will
droughts,
go over
famines, and
there and
food riots.
tell
Those
Dad.
conditions are
we're
recorded in the
ready.
papyrus known as the Emanations of the
Thank you,
World,
John.
a long hieroglyphic text that contains several sections in which it gives an
I
account
gotta put some gas in
of calamities and tribulations.
Oh, man.
It blames unholy envy for religious wrongdoing and social evils,
it.
and calls on people to repent and resume their religious
We
rights.
never went to the bank.
A prophetic section describing the coming of a redeemer, and another that extols the ideal times that will follow includes the papyrus.
Yeah.
And it starts, the text describes the breakdown of law and order and of a functioning society, a situation in which the doorkeepers go and plunder, the watchman refuses to carry his load, robberies everywhere, and man regards his son as an enemy. The denials and flooding is flooding,
That killing me that
it
40.
irrigates the land.
What's
No
temperature on?
clouds, rain is permanent, the storehouses are there,
1095.
dust is the land, the desert spreads, rumors rise up,
Flashing.
no one can conceive.
Hi, guys.
The damage is flowing to the river is blood. The roads are unsafe, trade has ceased, the provinces of Upper Egypt are no longer taxed. There is civil war, barbarians from elsewhere have come to Egypt,
What's
all
the
is
guy's
in ruin.
name? The other glass blower?
Some
Jonathan.
Egyptologists believe that at the core of those events lay a
Yes.
civil
Jonathan,
rivalry for
he's
wealth
here.
and power.
Cool.
An attempt
Yeah.
successful in the end by Theban
Yeah.
princes from the south to control the whole country. Lately, studies have associated the collapse of the old world with
Yeah, I
climate
like
change
that.
that undermined a society founded on agriculture, caused food shortages and food riots, social upheaval, and collapse of authority. But little attention has been paid to a major and perhaps the most important change.
He's been in our lives before at
In the
Twitch.
texts, in the hymns,
Oh, yeah.
in the honorific names of temples, it was no longer Ra, but from then on Ra Amen, Amen Ra. It was henceforth worship. Ra became Amen, Ra the unseen, for he was gone from Egypt. Right, kind of like in the movie in the Stargate. It was indeed a religious change that caused a political and societal breakdown. The unidentified people wrote, we believe that the change was Ra becoming Amen. The upheaval began with the collapse of religious observances and manifested itself in the defiling and abandonment of temples where the place of secrets had been laid bare. The writings of the August enclosure had been scattered. Common men tear them up in the streets. Magic is exposed. It is in the sight of him who knows it not. So their shit got, their secrets and their magic got exposed to the common man. Oh, heaven forbid that. The sacred symbol of the gods worn on the king's crown, the Uraeus, the divine serpent, right, the serpent eating its tail, is rebelled against. Religious dates are disturbed, priests are carried off wrongfully. After calling on the people to repent, to offer incense in the temples, to keep the offerings to the gods, the papyrus called on the repenters to be baptized, to remember to immerse. Then the words of the papyrus turn prophetic, in a passage that even Egyptologists call truly messianic. The admonitions speak of a time that shall come when an unnamed Savior, a God King, shall appear. Starting with a small following of him, men shall say, he brings coolness upon the hearts. He's a shepherd of all men. Though his herds may be small, he will spend the days caring for them. Then he will smite down evil. He will stretch forth his arms against it. People will be asking, where is he today? Has he been sleeping? Why has his power not ceased? The poor wrote, and he answered, behold, the glory thereof cannot be seen. But authority, perception, and justice are with him. So even though yeah, let's say, you might look at somebody, look at this person, and think they're just nobody, but that person is the Savior. Those ideal times are probably illustrated in this prophecy will be preceded by their own messianic birth pangs. Confusion will be set throughout the land, and tumultuous noise, one will kill the other, and one will kill the few.
One more thing?
People will ask, does the shepherd desire to
Yeah, I'm not going to put that.
No, it is the land that
I'm going to cut this off, though.
But after years of strife, righteousness, and proper worship will prevail. This, the papyrus concluded, was what Emperor Word said, and he responded to the majesty of the All-Lord. It's not just for the spectacle events of the Messianic prophecies, but also the choice of wording in that ancient Egyptian papyrus seem astounding. There's more to come. Scholars are aware of the existence of another prophetic Messianic text that reached us from ancient Egypt, but believe that it was really composed after the events known as tends to be prophetic by dating itself to an earlier time. To be specific, now, the text purports to relate prophecies made at the time of Sennacherib, a fourth dynasty pharaoh such as 2600 BCE. Egyptologists believe that it was actually written in the time of Amenhotep I of the 12th dynasty, circa 2000 BCE. After the events that it pretends to prophecy, even so, when prophecies project to a physical prior occurrences, a little detail of the reality of the predictions changes as the time is short. The prophecies are proposed to be told between Sennacherib by a great seer priest named Nefer-Rahu, a man of rank, a scribe, competent with his fingers. Summoned to the king to foretell the future, Nefer-Rahu stretched forth his hand for the box of writing equipment. He drew forth a scroll of papyrus, and then began to write what he was envisioning in a Nostradamus-like manner. Behold, there is something about which men speak. It is terrifying. What will be done was never done before.
I got to change over tanks on my oxygen, too.
The land is damaged. No remainder exists. There is no sunshine that people could see. No one can live without the covering clouds. No one can live without the covering clouds. The earth is completely perished. The land is damaged. No one can live without the covering clouds. What, like chemtrails? Something happens in either with the sun or maybe an event we do with nuclear weapons or something like that. And we damage our atmosphere and we have to, spray these chemtrails in the air. That's pretty unbelievable. That is pretty fucking chilling if you ask me. I mean, he's right there. Wow.
It was raining.
No one can live without the covering clouds. The south wind opposes the north wind. The rivers of Egypt are empty.
It was raining.
God must begin the foundations of the earth again.
I wore mine all day because I missed it. It's been here since last time it was cold.
Right.
I just saw it laying back there because I was trying to help Mom find something today. I was like, that shit was cut, my hat. So I could get some of this stuff out of your room.
A many, the unknown, the triumphant will be called.
It's nice being around.
The Son Man will be his name forever and ever.
I like it.
Wrongdoing will be driven out. Justice in
We're
its
going to get
place
that
will
bike
come.
soon. You want to buy a bike? She's looking at me like,
Rejoice. It is astounding to find such messianic prophecies of apocalyptic times.
Coffee says he wants a
and the
bike.
end of wrongdoing that will follow by the coming.
Coffee says he wants a bike, but the evil won't let him.
That's your problem.
Years ago,
He says happy birthday.
Thank you.
That's my problem. I know. Now, I've been trying to sell that thing like since I got here. And then some.
It is, as we shall see,
I had
linked
cash
to
in
the
hand that one
spanning interconnected events. In Samir, a period of chaos,
Find out
occupation
title
of foreign
suck.
troops, defilement
Yeah, well,
of
now it
temples, and
doesn't.
confusion as to where the
Yeah,
capital
now it's
should
in my
be,
name.
and who should be king following the end of the Sardonic era of Ishtar in
So
2260
Seamus is
BCE.
hungry, huh?
I guess so, because,
Questioned
questioned both of us on
Gosh.
plans
from
for
which the
dinner.
Judean foreigners were kept out.
So what are we doing for dinner?
I was thinking Texas Roadhouse. She said it's not but like 2 miles up the road.
By instructing the then
Okay.
king of Lagash, Gudea,
And a
to
couple
erect for
miles
him in the
back.
city's Gursu, the sacred precinct, a new
We're gonna have
and
to get some
different
gas.
temple.
I don't know how much gas we got in
There's
it
here called
at the
the
moment
Gursu.
because I've been charging
Of
them
the
for
Gursu
batteries.
already had a temple there, and as well a special enclosure for his divine blackbird, the flying machine. Yeah, the divine blackbird, the fucking.
I was thinking
Yeah,
this
I'm
would
ready to
probably
pray.
get us where we need to go.
I'm telling you, man, that's it. It's all gonna come out in the end. We're all gonna find out we were fucking seeded from Klingons. God damn it! I'm gonna be so fucking pissed when that comes out. Of all the goddamn dirty motherfuckers in the universe we could have been seeded from, we had to be seeded by fucking Klingons. Right, so we're all fucking part Klingon. Now, that's just fucking wonderful. You know, nothing I've ever found in my research has pissed me off, and that fuck Klingons. Man,
Alright, well, I'm gonna tell Sam
really
we're gonna
explains
go.
everything for me now.
Okay.
Jeff, what you gotta do here?
Fucking Klingons.
I love you guys. Love to my peoples.
I gotta take Polly out. Well, the thing is,
That really explains a lot.
you might want to hang on a second.
Oh.
Just because I'm done doesn't mean I'm done.
I know you're not done, but I told Seamus I'd come right back after I,
Oh, okay.
so
But so I've got a babysitter that's killing.
I know.
Yet the building of the new temple
I know what
requires
you gotta do.
special permission
You see
I'll
me
come
do it.
prepared.
in time.
Cool.
The inscriptions of
Good.
the temple have
I
to have
love you
special
too. It probably
features.
won't be too long, but I'm still waiting on it to ramp up.
Enabling certain celestial observations.
I was gonna go and say hi to Jonathan.
To that end, the
Oh,
Nurta
okay.
invited to Samir the god Ningazita, Thoth, and
Fucking
Egypt,
Ninzagita. Wait a minute. I gotta turn it up for the folks because
the
Then
divine
Zagita's
architect
talking.
and keeper
I'll
of
be
the
back in a
secrets of the
minute.
Giza pyramids. The fact that Ningazita, or Thoth, was the brother whom Marduk forced into exile circa 3100 BCE was certainly not lost on all concerned. The amazing circumstances surrounding the announcement, planning, construction, and dedication of Ninu, the House of Temple of 50, are told in great detail in Gudea's inscriptions. They were also unearthed in the ruins of Lagash, a site now called Tello, and were quoted at length in the Earth Chronicles book. What emerges from that detailed record inscribed on 2 clay cylinders in clear Sumerian cuneiform script is the fact that from announcement to dedication, every step and every detail of the new temple was dictated by celestial aspects. Those special celestial aspects had to do with the very timing of the temple's building. It was the time, as the inscription's opening lines declare, when, quote, in the heavens, destinies on earth were determined. At the time when in heaven destinies on earth were determined, Lagash shall lift its head heavenwards, in accordance with the great tablet of destinies, in favor of Ninurta declared. That special time when the destinies on earth are determined in the heavens was what we have called celestial time, the zodiacal clock. That such determining was linked to equinox, day becomes evident from the rest of Gudea's tale, as well as from Thoth's Egypt name Tahuti, the balancer of day and night, who draws the cord for orienting a new temple. Such celestial considerations continue to dominate the Ininu project from start to finish. The end of days. Gudea's tale begins with a vision dream that reads like an episode from the Twilight Zone TV series. For while the several gods featured in it were gone when he awoke, the various objects they showed him in the dream remained physically lying by his side. In that dream vision, the first of several, the god Ninurta appeared at sunrise, and the sun was aligned with the planet Jupiter. The god spoke and informed Gudea that he was chosen to build a new temple. Next, the goddess Nizva appeared, and she was wearing the image of a temple structure on her head. The goddess was holding a tablet on which the starry heavens were depicted, and with a stylus, she kept pointing to the favorable celestial constellation. A third god, Ningazita, i.e. Thoth, held a tablet of lapis lazuli on which a structural plan was drawn. He also held a clay brick, a mold for brick making, and a builder's carrying basket. When Gudea awoke, the three gods were gone, but the architectural tablet was in his lap, and the brick and mold were at his feet. Gudea needed the help of an oracle goddess and two more vision dreams to understand the meaning of it all. In the third vision dream, he was shown a holographic-like animated demonstration of the temple's building, starting with the initial alignment with the indicated celestial point, the laying of foundations, the molding of bricks, the construction all the way up step by step. Both the start of construction and the final dedication ceremony were to be held on signals from the gods on specific days. Both fell on New Year's Day, which meant the day of spring equinox. The temple raised its head in the customary 7 stages, but unusually for that flat-top Sumerian ziggurats, its head had to be pointed, shaped like a horn. Gudea had to emplace upon the temple's top a capstone. Its shape is not described, but in all probability, and judging by the image on Nisibba's head, it was in the shape of a pyramidion, in the manner of the capstones on the Egyptian pyramids. And the pyramidion is an interesting thing in Egyptology because it was only discovered not too far in the distant past, and they found both pi and the golden ratio within the pyramidion, and everybody thinks a pyramidion is just a capstone that wasn't placed there, but actually what it is it's actually a model, a replica model, a small scale version of a pyramid in the style of the Great Pyramid, and because the measurements of pi and golden ratio are accurate in the small version, you can also apply that to any size you want using the same mathematics, and using that small little model, the pyramidion, build as many pyramids as you wanted based on the mathematics in the pyramidion. So that's what it is. It's kind of like a master key. Moreover, rather than leave the brickwork exposed as was customary, Gudea was required to encase the structure with a casing of reddish stones, increasing its similarity to an Egyptian pyramid. The outside view of the temple was like that of a mountain set in place. Raising a structure with the appearance of an Egyptian pyramid had a purpose becomes clear from Ninurta's own words. The new temple, he told Gudea, will be seen from afar. Its awe-inspiring glance will reach the heavens. The adoration of my temple shall extend to all the lands, and its heavenly name will be proclaimed in countries from the end of the earth. In Megan and Malahua, it will cause people to say, Ningirshu, the Lord of the Girsu, the great hero from the lands of Enlil. It's a God who has no equal. He is the Lord of all of the earth. Megan and Malahula were the Sumerian names for Egypt and Nubia, the two lands of the gods of Egypt. The purpose of the Yeninu was to establish even there in Marduk's lands Ninurta's unequaled lordship, a God who has no equal, the Lord of all the earth. Proclaiming Ninurta rather than Marduk's supremacy required special features in the Yeninu. The ziggurat's entrance had to face the sun precisely in the east rather than the customary northeast. In the temple's topmost level, Gudea had to erect a Shu Galam, where the shining is announced, the place of the aperture, the place of determining from which Ninurta and Nigirshu could see the repetition over the lands. It was a circular chamber with 12 positions, each marked with a zodiacal symbol. An aperture for observing the skies, an ancient planetarium aligned to the zodiacal constellations. In the temple's forecourt, linked to an avenue that faced sunrise, Gudea had to erect 2 stone circles, one with 6 and the other with 7 stone pillars for observing the skies. Since only one avenue is mentioned, one assumes that the circles were one within the other. As one studies each phrase, terminology, and structural detail, it becomes evident that what was built in Lagash with the help of Ningizida Toth was a complex yet practical stone observatory, one part of which, devoted entirely to the zodiacs, reminds one of the similar one found in Dendera, Egypt. And the other gear to observing celestial, in Dendera, Egypt, the Temple of Hathor. Inside, that's actually where the oldest known zodiacal wheel is depicted. It's inside the Temple of Hathor, Dendera, and it's thousands of years before we're said to have had astrology. That's my man. If I go any place on Earth, that's where I want to go. I want to write a book and make a movie about the Temple of Hathor, Dendera. It's totally fascinating. There aren't any books written about it. There aren't any documentaries about it. There's a total blackout. They don't even talk about it on Ancient Aliens, even though they show it in the background of the intro. And the reason they won't talk about it is because if you really study and look at the pictures, the whole thing is dedicated to genetic manipulation. I mean, they admit everything in the Temple of Hathor. They show these machines they have for making physical flame bodies that the spirits would manifest themselves in. The thing is built to the scale of giants. I mean, there's a picture. You can go to Google Images and type in Temple of Hathor and scroll through the pictures. You'll eventually find a picture. It's a little Egyptian man, and he's seated on this pillar. And sitting next to the pillar, this little Egyptian man, and he looks tiny. And then you realize, oh, wait, that's inside the Temple of Hathor, Dendera. And then you notice that there's stuff on the ceilings, painted, fully detailed stuff. This thing was built to the scale of giants. And it's largely, hugely uncovered in the realm of Egyptology, in the realm of documentaries and books. I've searched, Amazon, everywhere. No books dedicated to even getting into any of the stuff in the Temple of Hathor. And again, you wouldn't have to have any of these ancient alien shows ever again if you just really got into what was in that place. And the other gear to observing celestial rising and setting, a virtual Stonehenge on the banks of the Euphrates River. Like Stonehenge in the British Isles, the one built in Lagash provided stone markers for solar observatories and solstices and equinoxes, but the prime outside feature was the creation of a slight line from a center stone continued between two stone pillars and then on down an avenue to another stone. Such a sight line, precisely oriented when planned, enabled determining at the moment of heliacal rising in which zodiacal constellation the sun was appearing. And that, determining the zodiacal age through precise observation, was the prime objective of the whole complex facility. In Stonehenge, the slight line ran and still runs from a stone column called the altar stone in the center through two stone columns identified as sarsen stones, numbers 1 and 30, then down the avenue to the so-called heel stone. It is generally agreed that the Stonehenge with a double bluestone circle and the heel stone of what is designated Stonehenge 2 dates to between 2200 and 2100 BCE. That was also the time, perhaps more accurately, in 2160 BCE when the Stonehenge on the Euphrates was built. And that was no chance coincidence. Like those two zodiacal observatories, other stone observatories proliferated at the same time in other places on Earth. At various sites in Europe and South America, on the Golan Heights of northeast of Israel, even in faraway China, where archaeologists discovered in the Shanxi province a stone circle with 13 pillars aligned to the zodiac, dating to 2100 BCE. They were all deliberate countermoves by Ninurta and Ningizida to Marduk's divine chess game, to show mankind that the zodiacal age was still the age of the bull. Various texts from that time, including an autobiographical text by Marduk and a longer text known as the Era Epos, shed light on Marduk's wanderings away from Egypt, making him the hidden one. They also reveal that his demands and actions assumed an urgency and ferocity because of the conviction that his time for supremacy had come.
He had
The heavens bespeak my glory as Lord was his claim. Why? Because he announced the age of the bull, the age of the Enlil was over. The age of the ram, Marduk's zodiacal age, had arrived. It was just as Ninurta had told Gudea, the time when in the heavens, destinies on earth were determined. The zodiacal ages, it will be recalled, were caused by the phenomenon of precession, the retardation in Earth's orbit around the sun. The retardation accumulates to 1 degree out of 360 in 72 years. An arbitrary division of the grand circle into 12 segments of 30 degrees each means that mathematically the zodiacal calendar shifts from one age to another every 2,160 years. Since the deluge occurred, according to Sumerian texts, in the age of the lion, our zodiacal clock can start circa 10,860 BCE. An astounding timetable emerges if, in this mathematically determined 2,160-year zodiacal calendar, the starting point of 10,800 BC rather than 10,860 BC is chosen. 10,800 to 8,640 BCE, the age of the lion, Leo. 8,640 to 6,480 BCE, the age of the crab, Cancer. 6,480 to 4,320 BCE, the age of the twins, Gemini. 4,320 to 2,160, the age of the bull, Taurus. And 2,160 to 0 BCE, the age of the ram, Aries. Setting aside the neat end result that synchronizes with the Christian era, one must wonder whether it was mere coincidence that the Ishtar and Ninurta era petered out in or about 2160 BCE, just when, according to the above zodiacal calendar, the age of the bull in Lil's age was also ending. Probably not. Certainly Marduk did not think so. The available evidence suggests that he was sure that according to celestial time, his time for supremacy, his age, had arrived. Modern studies of Mesopotamian astronomy indeed confirm that the zodiacal circle is divided into 12 houses of 30 degrees each, a mathematical rather than an observational division. The various texts we have mentioned indicate that as he moved about, Marduk made another foray into the Elamite heartland, arriving back in Babylon with a retinue of followers. Rather than resort to armed conflict, the Elamites enlisted Marduk's brother Nergal, whose spouse was a granddaughter of Enlil, to come to Babylon from southern Africa and persuade his brother to leave. In his memoirs, known as the Era Epos, Nergal reported that Marduk's chief argument was, at the time, the age of the ram had arrived. But Nergal counter-argued that it is not really so. The Helaical rising, he told Marduk, still occurs in the constellation of the bull. Enraged, Marduk questioned the accuracy of the observations. What happened to the precise and reliable instruments from before the deluge that were installed in your lower world domain? He demanded to know from Nergal. Nergal explained that they were destroyed by the deluge. Come and see for yourself. Which constellation is seen at sunrise on the appointed day, he urged Marduk. Whether Marduk went to Lagash to make the observation, we do not know, but he did realize the cause of the discrepancy. While mathematically the ages changed every 2,160 years, in reality, observationally, they did not. The zodiacal constellations in which stars were grouped arbitrarily were not of equal size. Some occupied a larger arc of the heavens, some smaller, and as it happened, the constellation of the Ram was one of the smaller ones, squeezed between the larger Taurus and Pisces. Celestially, the constellation Taurus, occupying more than 30 degrees of the heavenly arc, lingers on for at least another 2 centuries beyond its mathematical length. In the 21st century BCE, celestial time and messianic time failed to coincide. We go away peacefully and come back when the heavens will declare your age, Nergal told Marduk. Yielding to his fate, Marduk did leave, but did not go too far away. And with him as emissary, spokesman, and herald, his son, whose mother was an earthling woman. And that's the end of chapter 3. We're going to get into chapter 4 now, the end of days, from Zechariah Sitchin, of gods and demigods. The decision of Marduk to stay in or near the contested lands and to involve his son in the struggle for mankind's allegiance persuaded the Enlilites to return Sumer's central capital to Ur, the cult center of Nannar. It was the 3rd time that Ur was chosen to serve in that capacity, hence the designation Ur-3 for that period. The move linked the affairs of the contending gods to the biblical tale and the role of Abraham, and the intertwined relationship changed religion to this day. Among the many reasons for the choice of Nannar as the Enlilite champion was the realization that contending with Marduk had expanded beyond the affairs of gods alone and had become a contest for the minds and hearts of the people, the very earthlings whom the gods had created, who now made up the armies that went to war on behalf of their creators. Unlike other Enlilites, Nannar, or also known as Sin, was not a combatant in the wars of the gods. His selection was meant to signal to people everywhere, even in the rebel lands, that under his leadership an era of peace and prosperity would begin. He and his spouse Ningal were greatly beloved by the people of Sumer, and Ur itself spelled prosperity and well-being in its very name, which meant urban, domesticated place. It came to mean not just city, but the city, the urban jewel of the ancient lands. Nannar's temple there, a skyscraping ziggurat, rose in stages within a walled sacred precinct where a variety of structures served as the god's abode, and the residences and functional buildings of a legion of priests, officials, and servants who attended to the divine couple's needs and arranged the religious observances by king and people. Beyond those walls, there extended a magnificent city with 2 harbors and canals, linking it to the Euphrates River. A great city with a king's palace, administrative buildings, including for scribes and record keeping, as well as for tax collecting. Oh yeah, the tax man. Yeah, so well, see, there you go. Another thing we can thank these Anunnaki motherfuckers for, right? Yeah. They're the ones that brought about the income tax, first off.
It had a loose ball.
So not only do they seed us with life and culture and all this, they also brought us the wonderful tax collector. Thank you so much, Anunnaki. We really appreciate that. Multi-level private dwellings, workshops, schools, merchants, warehouses, and stalls, all on a wide street where, at many intersections, prayer shrines open to all travelers were built. The majestic ziggurat with its monumental stairways, though long in ruin, still dominates the landscape even after more than 4,000 years. But there was another compelling reason. Unlike contending Ninurta and Marduk, who were both immigrants to Earth from the Biru, Nannar was born on Earth. He was not only Enlil's firstborn on Earth, he was the first of the first generation of gods to be born on Earth. His children, the twins Utu, Shamash, and Inanna Ishtar,
I don't know how you
and their
set up that
sister
one. That was easy too.
Ereshkigal,
That one's the same as mine.
belonged to the god's third generation,
I'm
all
going to
born
use
on Earth.
tomorrow. I'm going to work on that piece.
They were
You know how to
gods,
turn it on,
but
right?
they were also Earth's
Yeah, I
leaders.
reprogrammed it.
All
Yeah,
was without
because
doubt
today-
taken into consideration in the coming struggle for the loyalties of the people.
I don't know
Figure
what
out
they.
the program.
I don't know what they had it programmed
The
on, but
choice
you
of a
shouldn't
new
have to
king to
reprogram it.
restart
All
the
you
fresh
all you should
kingship
have to do
in
is
from
just
Sumer
flip
was
on the
also
switch
carefully vetted.
and push this button all the way until it
God
says
was
start,
the
and
free
then
hand given to or assumed by Inanna Ishtar, who chose Sargon, the Akkadian, to start a new dynasty because she liked his lovemaking. Now, this shit just sounds like fucking Dune, doesn't it? Like Dune and Klingons from Star Trek all wrapped into one. Sargon, the Akkadian. I mean, come on. That sounds pretty close to, you know,
Oh yeah, then you just gotta go to you gotta
Paul Atreides of the clan Atreides, you know.
It'll show you which
The sleeper has awakened.
Speed 5.
yeah. Well, there's
She wanted to start a new dynasty all because she liked this fool's lovemaking.
Part of the program, so then one of them
Unbelievable.
will
So you see, it's not just Enki that was going around pouring beer pitchers of his sperm into any womb that was around at the moment. No, even the chicks couldn't keep their legs closed.
Oh yeah.
She started a new dynasty because she liked the way this fool fucked her. No, I think I like the way you fuck. Let's start a new civilization, shall we? Jesus Christ, can we go out on a second date, please? We went from first base to fucking grand slam the first night, man. I mean, I know my dick's good, but goddamn. already starting to wonder, what is our new dynasty? You like the dick that much? Slow down, girl. Shit, let's go out to a fucking Olive Garden or something first before you start talking about, let's. Shit, that's strong words. The new king named Namu was carefully selected by Enlil and approved by Anu, and he was no mere earthling. He was a son, the beloved son of the goddess Ninsa. She had been the reader, we'll call, the mother of Gilgamesh. Since this divine genealogy was restated in numerous inscriptions during Namu's reign, in the presence of Nanar and other gods, one must assume that the claim was factual. This made Namu not only a demigod, but, as was the case of Gilgamesh, 2/3 divine. Indeed, the claim that the king's mother was the goddess Ninsun placed Namu in the very same status as that of Gilgamesh, whose exploits were well remembered and whose name remained revered. The choice was thus a signal to friends and foes alike that the glorious days of the unchallenged authority of Enlil and his clan are back. All that was important, perhaps even crucial, because Marduk had his own attributes of appeal to the masses of mankind. That special appeal to the earthlings was the fact that Marduk's deputy and chief campaigner was his son Nabu, who not only was born on Earth, but was born to a mother who herself was an earthling. For long ago, indeed, in the days before the deluge, Marduk broke all traditions and taboos and took an earthling woman to be his official wife. This earthling woman had to get booted. Everyone knows that. The whole galaxy knows that.
It's at 11:05.
Well, yeah, in some cases, not all cases. Sometimes it's not good at all. But, you know, it's still better than Anunnaki badge. Oh, that stuff. Phew. Yeah. You ever ate at Arby's before?
I'm going to idle it out.
Yeah.
Next time you go to Arby's, their sandwiches and hold it sideways. Yeah, that's what Anunnaki badge looks like. Not that I've seen it or anything, but, you know, that's what I'm told. Young Anunnaki took earthling females as wives should not come as a shocking surprise, for it's recorded even in the Bible for all to see, right? Yeah. Made it with the daughters of man. What is little known even to scholars because the information is found in ignored texts and has to be verified from complex god lists is the fact that it was Marduk who set the example that the sons of God followed. And it came to pass when the earthlings began to increase in number upon the earth, and daughters were born unto them, of the sons of the Elohim, so the daughters of the Adam, that they were compatible. And they took unto themselves these wives of whichever they chose. Genesis 6 1-2. The biblical explanation of the reason for the Great Flood in the first enigmatic verses of chapter 6 of Genesis clearly points to the intermarriage and its resulting offspring as the cause of the divine wrath. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days and thereafter too, and the sons of the Elohim came unto the daughters of the Adam and had children by them. My readers may recall that it was my question as a schoolboy of why Nephilim, which literally means those who have come down, who descended from heaven to earth, was usually translated as giants. It was much later that I realized and suggested that the Hebrew word for giants, Anakim, was actually a rendering of the Sumerian Anunnaki. The Bible clearly cites such intermarriage, the taking as wives between young sons of the gods, sons of the Elohim, and Nephilim.
He's been in our chat.
Daughters of the Adam, as God's reason for seeking mankind's end by the deluge.
Message retracted.
My spirit shall no longer dwell in man, for his flesh they erred. And God repented that he had fashioned the Adam on earth and was distraught. And he said, let me wipe the Adam that I have created off the face of the earth.
I will. Thank you, big boys.
The Sumerian and Akkadian texts telling the story of the deluge explained that two gods were involved in that drama. It was Enlil who sought mankind's destruction by the deluge.
I gotta go get Seamus and pollyz some food. I'm cool. I'm gonna kill him down. Hi, Steve. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm trying to sell that motherfucker. It's a nice bike. I like that bike. I really like that bike. It's fun to drive. YouTube's updating. Welcome back. Welcome back, Skid. Yeah, I fell in love with that damn bike. Them tires only got about 200 miles on them. I just barely wore off the manufacturer grease on that shit. And I just like cruising on the fucking bike. It ain't about the power and the speed and all that shit. That motherfucker is sick. Nice bike. It's nice to just fucking kick back, do the speed limit or even under. I don't care. Fucking kick it up in a high gear and just let the pipes fucking roll. Bop, 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 down the fucking highway, motherfucker. Yeah, I like that bike. I ain't never had an 1100. I only had 750s. That motherfucker rocks. Right. I mean, like, damn, dropping a gear, boy, you can stand that motherfucker up at 55. Shit ain't playing. It's like, damn. It's just a push button, and the motherfucker starts right up. It's a lot of fun to drive. It can be. You get used to straightaways. It's pretty nice. You got some nice curves. I've been climbing mountains with that thing up there when we were camping. I had it at a campsite. That's why I was bringing back and forth on them fucking original tires. It was 24 years old. And I pulled that shit into the dealership, man. It was tripping. It was like, fuck, dude, that's beautiful shape. Fucking excellent condition. And very rare bike. I guess they stopped making 1100s not long after that one. Went to fuel injected 750s just to make it easier, more performance. No, fuck that, man. Have you heard this motherfucker roar? Shit. I'm driving down the road the first couple of days. I'm like, fuck, what's vibrating? I realize it's the fucking motor. It's the motor vibrating my ass. I'm like, fuck. Just a little more than the 750. Almost twice as much, I guess. Yeah, I hit the fucking, I'm like, man, that's the fucking engine. That motherfucker's badass. Oh my god. I really like the bike. I need to sell that thing. Oh my god. Oh man. Yeah, it's fun. Fuck, it's fun. It's fun to drive. Very responsive. Very fucking, just a whole range of fucking power on that thing.
I have no wife, I have no children. And he went on to tell her that he had given him to the daughter of a high priest, an accomplished musician. There is no reason to believe that he was the chosen man in Menoroti of Sumerian text, the parallel of the biblical Enoch.
I got to do this manually because I don't know how to set the ramp just yet. Cool down.
To start with it, agreed, Margaret's parents gave him the go-ahead. The marriage produced a son who was named Insect.
Coming back up again. Anyway, yeah, once I get this thing cooled down here, this next ramp, I'm going to go take the fam out to get something to eat. I think we're going to Texas Roadhouse for Holly's birthday. I'm wondering how to turn everything off here. Gotta get my mood lamp. I guess I just unplugged it. Plug it in there. This one, we'll leave that on. It's set up.
Egyptian prophecies earlier quoted. His name and role became linked to the messianic expectations.
I like working out of that bigger kiln. You can see once I get it rolling, I can work a lot faster out of it than I could my little one. On DMT, well, it's unnecessary actually. You can tap into another dimension just by concentrating on it. Nice, Nick. I've it kills inhibitions and knocks down walls.
Finding an opportunity, perhaps an invitation to come and celebrate Mark's wedding, they seized earthling females and carried them off as wives.
But so does a mild dose of mushrooms. Sounds good right now. I like mushrooms. I haven't had any in a couple months.
Those who observe and see organize themselves in 20 groups. Each had a named leader.
But I don't know. I think DMT's a little bit over the edge. I found better ways to take that dimensional. And it's all about being a magnet and like relaxing your magnet. Yeah, I've helped people walk through DMT. I'm familiar with it, but I've taken that trip without it a lot, and at will. You have the ability to. That's what I'm saying, just naturally. The chemical concentrate isn't natural. I use it in minute amounts. But I do that. Polly, after hanging out with me, she's like, I'm not even sure you smoke pot. But I do. Don't want to stay stuck. Well, I'll tell you what, I can get you some chocolates that are fucking top notch, man. But you got to get to Colorado. Right on. We're set up for tomorrow. Let me kill my propane. All right. Forget everything. Keep that in there.
Considering gaining narrative Gudea during the early heroic times, speaking of the king of his Stella of the
I'm gonna load it for bear. All right, y'all. I'm out tonight. A little bit at a time. With discretion. Yeah. Try it naturally. Just try to relax into it. A little bit of shrooms would help. Nope. I'm in, well, 2 sheds melded together into a shop behind Rigs for Us. Working here for the next couple weeks at the store I sell to all the time. I'm closer. Love y'all too. Love you, Nick. I'm signing off. I gotta go get Polly and Seamus something to eat. Y'all have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow. Stay calm. Fucking human spiking all over the place.